everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Powerful Stuff. I hope you all are just feeling like you're basking in self love after our powerful Valentine's Day and like unlocking your pleasure and leading from that place episode. And today we're going to talk about comparison, and we're going to turn that comparison into creativity. And I'm really excited to do this with you today because I know comparison is something that we all struggle with. Um, Even yours truly, believe it or not. No, I'm joking. Of course, I struggle with comparison, but you know, let's reframe that from a struggle. It's a delight. It's a delight to move through it because it means that we're expanding and we want to grow. And so, last week in the upgrade, we had our alchemizing imposter syndrome module. And I like to say with imposter syndrome to celebrate it when it's coming up, because if we weren't feeling imposter syndrome, it means that part of our soul wouldn't be itching to grow, right? If we were complacent, then we would not be feeling imposter syndrome. And similarly with comparison, even if we might be procrastinating or in inaction, if we let comparison completely paralyze us, the fact that we're feeling it means that part of us wants to grow. Part of us is ready for that next step. And when we see someone else doing it, then that's our soul telling us, hello, knock, knock. It's time to take some action because we're ready to share our gifts to the world. So the first step is to celebrate it. But we're going to go through a rapid fire 5 steps, guys. This is truly going to be a fast and furious episode. And we're going to leave on the other side feeling like our comparison is fuel. So if you're struggling with comparison, or if you have a friend that's struggling with comparison, congratulations, you're in the growth zone. And let's get to it because this episode is going to have you ready to take action on the other side. And, I always give a little context before we dive into the deep end, and I'm here in Playa Venal, which I told you guys before, and I'm at another surf camp. So I'm sure there will be even more musings on the other side of this. Excuse me. But not only was last week imposter syndrome for the upgrade, and imposter syndrome being like, as I mentioned, when you don't feel good enough or qualified for something, you have a fear of being found out. And so we walked through those steps for imposter syndrome. They are, we can kind of take ourselves with comparison through similar steps to get on the other side of it and to expand into our purpose. And guys, expanding into your purpose and taking action and not letting something like imposter syndrome or comparison get the best of you is more important now than ever, like literally now than ever, because, I was telling a client actually who was like, talking about how like comparison and imposter syndrome, are they qualified or not? And I'm like, well, consider this. In this current administration, there's so many people arguably who are not qualified for their position, so many people who are holding public office in spite of all of the atrocities or crimes they've committed, or just like gross lack of qualifications. And that didn't stop them. So if that's not stopping them and they're the ones taking action, where does that leave us in the world, right? It's your civic duty to take action, to take bigger swings, even if you don't feel qualified just yet, because it's that action and that momentum that's going to start to build our confidence. And in a world that we're having some crazy things happen. Some of us feel like the American democracy is at stake. But in a world in which so many people, and especially traditionally, historically, and statistically, this has been proven, men, oftentimes apply or take the shot for things that they're not qualified for, and then they get the job, and then they like learn on the job. It's like that's the kind of energy that we need. That's part of les resistance. That's part of our resistance. That's part of our taking action when we feel hopeless, is actually to like notice when we have imposter syndrome or comparison and be like, the world depends on it. I'm operating from a place of like pure intentions and a good heart and a desire to do good for humanity. So actually, like, I can't afford not to. So that's my little pep talk, guys, tying this into our world events. Take it or leave it. But when I told my client that, not only did she find it helpful, but I actually found it helpful for myself as a reminder of like, holy shit, like actually like the world depends on us taking our own big swings, betting on ourselves, showing up and being a beacon of hope for others, because what's the alternative when we look at who's running the country and who's put in positions that they're not qualified for. Okay, that is my last little diatribe for today. Let's just get into those steps, shall we? So, not only was the reason that I decided to do this topic this week because I was doing the imposter syndrome one and the upgrade, which, side note, if you're listening and you're curious about the upgrade group coaching program, this is the last week to get the pre-launch price for my 10th cohort. So email me at themeredithbaker.com if you're interested in taking advantage of that. I would love to have you. But anyways, not only was I doing it for the upgrade, but this week I noticed myself, I was like kind of going through some brand exercises for myself, and I was looking at other brands that, either have a similar demographic or a similar message online. And I noticed myself being like, oh my gosh, they have more followers, or they're doing things that like on a larger scale that I wanted to be doing, right? I noticed myself, even though it was in the name of my growth. And I started off by looking at their pages in the spirit of kind of like designing and thinking about, what can I learn, or like what system do they seem to be using or whatnot for their own brand. I noticed myself going down a little comparison rabbit hole. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And I had to take myself through these steps. Anyways, okay, so step one, let's just keep it simple. Step one is to celebrate it. Acknowledge, hey, this comparison is coming up because I am ready to grow. I am ready to grow, and this is my soul telling me, wake up, it's time. Step two is acknowledge all of the things the imposter syndrome, the comparison, but it could also be the imposter syndrome is telling you. Maybe, sometimes they're two sides of the same coin, because you might have comparison, but then you might also be like, that person's so much more qualified than me. I'm not qualified. Like, people will know that I'm not qualified, right? So they can definitely be the same, two different sides of the same coin. So step two is just fucking acknowledge it. Write out all the things your comparison is telling you, because it's hard to move forward when we still have those little shame messages playing in our head. So write them down. Don't have attachment to it. Like, don't make it a part of you. Don't make it bad. You can even do what Brene Brown does, which is like creating space between you and the thought by saying, the story I'm telling myself is, this person has way more qualifications. The story I'm telling myself is, this person has way more years of experience. The story I'm telling myself is, this person is more funny than I am. The story I'm telling myself is whatever it might be. So get out all of those comparison statements and just like let it sit. Notice how you feel on the other side of it. And on the other side of writing it down, I would say step 3 is providing that loving counter argument to the comparison. And the loving counter argument I like to also couple with acceptance. So like accepting that like your inner child probably feels scared to grow because it's unfamiliar, right? Because they might be seen on a larger platform, which means that they could be more prone to being attacked or whatever it might be. Or maybe like the comparison of the thing they want to up level into comes with more responsibility, or building a larger team, and maybe they have a fear of managing people and people not liking them, right? So after you get everything out, like the deepest fear inventory, so to speak, of the comparison in step 2, in step 3, I want you to kind of like accept, but then also offer a loving counter argument. Okay, it makes sense that you feel that way. It might be kind of scary to change. I totally get that. And what about these other times that you did do these things, or you adapted quickly and it worked out? Or what about, you say you're not as experienced as this person, but what about all the experience you've had leading people through XYZ, or your ability to like learn something and rearticulate it in a really beautiful way that's all your own, right? So step 3 is really accepting and writing out that counter argument to what it's been telling you, what that imposter syndrome's been telling you. And then, guys, after step 3, I like to, before we even go on to our own unique special gifts, I like to do a gratitude. And I guess this is like kind of where like we have an extra step in the comparison to creativity piece, then that's not necessarily always in the imposter syndrome. But after step 3, step 4, I would say be grateful for this person. So Lacey Phillips in To Be Magnetic calls these people you're comparing yourself to expanders, right? Expanders because they're helping expand your subconscious of what's possible for you. So if you weren't feeling it and seeing it in them and being triggered by it, it might mean that, but the fact that you are doing it, the fact that you are triggered by them means that like part of you wants this too. So, and also Gabby Bernstein, Lacey Phillips calls them expanders, which I think is beautiful, right? So it's like they're helping show you like, hey, if this person can do it, so can you. If it's possible for this person, it's possible for you. And Gabby Bernstein calls them driftwood. Driftwood being like little winks from the universe that you're on your path. So if you're seeing people that have something that you want, it's in your orbit, it's in your frequency, it's coming. What a powerful reframe, right? Versus like they don't have it and I want it, being like, oh my God, I'm in that energy. I'm learning from these people. These people are in my orbit. This means that I'm like operating on the same frequency to be seeing it. This means it's getting closer for me. Yay. Thank you guys. Thank you for showing me that it's possible. Okay. So step 4 is thanking the people. You don't actually have to send it to them, although if they are like a friend and maybe they, or they're like an account that you admire, you could certainly say like, hey, I just wanted to say like I've been finding your work really inspiring, thank you so much. Because I think voicing it out actually also brings like energy to it and energy to you and helps loosen that grip even further. So step 4 would be writing them a thank you note. Thank you for showing me that like you can build your livelihood hosting retreats all over the world. Thank you for showing me that you can step into parenthood and be doing XYZ, and just all the reasons why you're grateful for them. And bonus, if you actually send them this note of why you're grateful for them. And also, I'll add on to this, but it doesn't always apply, that in addition to sending them a note, you could also like collaborate with them, right? Like I've collaborated with people I've in the past compared myself to, and we've created like events together, or I've invited them on my podcast. Like, and it's a beautiful way of turning comparison into collaboration, because especially as women, so often we're positioned to compare ourselves to each other. It's like a divide and conquer technique to keep us disconnected from our power, when actually like sisterhood or unity, is like a rising tide raises all boats energy. And it's actually such an abundant mindset instead of scarcity, where like scarcity being like, if you have more, then I have less. If I have less, then you have more, right? And okay, I lied. I said I wasn't going to go into political diatribe. This is going to be so brief and painless, though, I swear. But yeah, so like comparison can be seen in politics in many different countries, and now as well, like where people are otherizing others and like their success takes away from our success. And so it's like in our own life, let's be that act of resistance by actually building bridges instead of walls, even if it's with people in our professional field, by saying like either sending them gratitude and what can I learn from them and how can I grow, and thank you so much for being a beacon, because you being a beacon means that I can serve more people on my platform too, and it's creating this beautiful domino effect. And undoubtedly one day someone's going to compare themselves to me, and then they're going to turn that into gratitude and they're going to serve more people, and together we all rise, right? And so anyways, all of that's to say, in step 4, as you're giving gratitude and potentially even collaborating with these people, you're helping undo that divide and conquer narrative. And the people in power who kind of do that, again, like why women have been positioned as competition toward each other, for example, it weakens that, like that brute force power. And like what I've talked about in past episodes, it helps come into that soft power, the soft power of empathy and bridges and learning from each other. So that is such a powerful tool to use in your personal life and when we kind of think of the macro scale of humanity. Okay, so step 4 is gratitude. Why are you grateful for them? How does them being a beacon inspire you and actually help you to serve more people or share your gifts in an even more profound way? And then step 5 is, now that you've, acknowledged, yay, comparison is coming up, which means I'm ready to expand. Step 2, you have acknowledged like all the little voices in your head, and you've gotten them out on paper. Step 3 is you've accepted them. You've provided that gentle counter argument, and all this evidence actually of why that's not necessarily true. Step 4, you've given gratitude to these people who have helped you. Step 5 is acknowledging, and this is what I love to do in imposter syndrome too. Step 5, you acknowledge the cost. What is the cost for you if you don't do that thing because you're like, oh, someone else has already done it. Oh, someone else has already done it, so why bother? What is the cost for you? What is the cost for your happiness when you're on your deathbed and you look back and you didn't do that thing? What is the cost for your future generations potentially if you plan on having kids, that they saw that you didn't do something because like someone else has already done it, or you just had this narrative in your head that someone else could do it better? And what is the cost for the world? What are you robbing the world of with your gifts? What people won't get to benefit because you didn't do the thing? And like what people won't get a benefit from them who got to experience you because you didn't do the thing? And really like zoom out and sit with that cost, because that can be heavy. And sometimes when we acknowledge the cost, it's like, wait, okay, the momentary pain of like potentially sucking or wondering what other people think is so much better of a trade-off than like going my whole life carrying this fucking heavy weight. So acknowledge that, just acknowledge it, you know? And after you acknowledge the cost in step 5, step 6, I know I'm getting like, I was like, I could combine this into 4 steps, but guys, we want to leave no stone unturned. Are you with me? And then step 6 is how can no one do it like you? How are you uniquely positioned to share your gifts? And it's not discounting them, right? Because they're uniquely positioned to share theirs. But it's like you probably wouldn't trade your entire world to be in their shoes, right? There might be elements of what they're doing that you really resonate with or like, or elements of their life that you really admire and want to cultivate for yourself, but you probably wouldn't do a full trade with their life, right? There's elements of your life that you like too. And there's elements of your gifts that you're like, this is so fucking special to me. So step 6 is really writing that love letter or that hype up letter to yourself of like, dear Meredith, wow, you are fucking amazing. Like you were meant to combine like coaching meets comedy meets culture meets connection. Like your background in African studies and living and working in Latin America growing up and like learning other people's stories and creating a bridge, or your background like interning at the Colbert Report and doing stand-up and improv classes, like taking things lightly, like co-creating with people, your background like coaching and working with high performers or people like shedding the shoulds to tap into their true gifts. Like all of this uniquely makes you like powerful stuff, which is like the cheeky self-development that we love. And yes, there's other comedians. Yes, there's other coaches. Yes, there's other coaches who are comedians, but like you have your unique angle, and like it's so needed in this world. And like some people might resonate with someone else, but some people might resonate with you. So don't miss that opportunity of like speaking to those people who need to hear it from your voice. And so, and again, there's room at the top for everyone, as my friend Chelsea likes to say. So anyways, all of that's to say, write yourself that passionate love letter, put on your favorite like pump up song, and think about all the unique points in your journey, maybe even listing like 4 or 5 unique points in your journey that make you so you that like no one can speak it or deliver it the way that you can. And that's why it's so important for you to do what you can do best. And how powerful is that? And how you feel when you're doing it, like so fully expressed. So when you're writing this in step 6, how can no one do it like you? Also tap into that feeling. What will it feel like for your throat chakra to be fully open? What will it feel like for all sides of you to be working in tandem to create this beautiful platform or offering or whatever, like meant to be gift it is that you're bringing to the world? Okay. So once you've done that, I guess you guys, I bet you guys know what step 7 is, and 7's my lucky number. Okay, that's right. You guessed it. Gosh, you're so smart. Take aligned action. So now that we've kind of done the inner work, we've excavated, we've alchemized, we've given gratitude to these other people in our fields. Thank you so much for showing us, lighting the way so we can do our own thing too. Anyways, so now that you've done all that, step 7 is take aligned action. The only way we can fully complete the alchemization process of comparison is if we take action. So what is that one step that you're going to take this week, or one baby step you're going to take today? What's the baby step that you're going to take after that? What's the baby step you're going to take after that? And don't be surprised if you have to go through these 7 steps multiple times, or you need to continue to check in with yourself. It's not a bad thing that comparison comes up, or it might kill a little, you might get off this episode and be like, that was the best fucking episode ever. I feel so inspired. And you do a little action, and then 3 days later, you're on Instagram scrolling again, and boom, comparison hits you again. That is fine. It's okay. You're having the feeling again, but it's what you do after that matters. So if you sit in it and you dwell in it, and then you're like, I'm really going to just like lash myself on the back 20 lashes, and I'm going to look at every person who's in my field and compare. And then I'm going to keep scrolling and do nothing and create this vicious cycle. And then my screen time is going to increase. And then I'm going to feel even more shit, right? That's when we get into a vicious cycle. But if you're scrolling a little, you're having a little cheeky scroll, and you're like, okay, I'm noticing comparison. Then it's what you do after. Okay, I'm going to go through those 7 steps again, because this is my inner child saying, ding, ding, ding. I need a little more acknowledgement. It's a little scary. I just need a little more acknowledgement. Are you willing to give that to me? And what a small price to pay to go through these 7 steps again, or to just give yourself a little acknowledgement, to acknowledge that the comparison's happening. And that way it becomes an alarm bell to slow down, to connect with yourself, versus like something to lash yourself, metaphorically speaking, over. So we have our 7 steps. This is going to be a quick and powerful medi, guys. We're actually going to do a little Kapalabhati, which is kind of shiny skull breathing. It's a forceful exhale. So we'll do it for a minute. We'll hold at the top. And then we're going to, as we're exhaling, because it's all in our navel center, we're going to imagine like that building of that comparison feeling with that other person. We're going to imagine it build, build, build. And then after our breath holds, we're going to alchemize it. And it'll be, yeah, like I said, brief but powerful. So we'll do this 50 times, 50 breaths, and then we'll do a little breath hold. So let's go ahead and begin. Take a deep breath in and exhale all through your nose. Bring your navel to your spine, continuing to lift, feeling that fire coming out of your nostrils as you root your hips down into the earth, allowing that feeling of comparison to rise, that feeling of resistance, whatever needs to come to the surface, allowing it to bubble up now, making it even more forceful. You might even have a little like snot coming out as toxins releasing. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Squeeze everything up. Feeling that space, almost imagining a vision of that other person who you're comparing yourself to in your mind's eye. Seeing them in front of you. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine sending them golden light into their heart as a way of saying thank you. Thank you for being an expander and waking me up to my gifts. Thank you for all that I've learned from you. Taking a deep breath in and feeling that golden light come from them, lifting you up, holding it in your heart, feeling even more golden light in your heart than the first breath, as if you've both helped each other expand. Looking at them one more time, saying thank you so much. Thank you for your unique journey. Exhale, sending them this golden light. And as you breathe in, breathing in more golden light, feeling yourself expand, and knowing that they have felt your gratitude, you can return awareness to your own navel center, feeling this golden light grow there. Just returning to your normal breath. And as you feel this golden light grow, starting to see flashes through your mind's eye, but really feeling it in your navel center, really feeling the energy of it, of times in the past where you've overcome comparison. You've overcome hard things. Maybe it was even from like childhood, of overcoming comparison about, a sport that you compared yourself to another kid at, or grades, and that you continued onto your unique path and how good that felt. Maybe it's a time in college you were comparing your social group to someone else's, and you recommitted and felt even more in your power and your own. And then bringing to mind another more recent example when you return to your unique path, Knowing that you already have that in you, you already have that compass, that direction in you. Relaxing into that and asking your mind's eye to show you a glimpse of why no one can do it like you. Your unique offering that you're meant to do. And starting to see and feel fully expressed you, all sides of you being seen and activated in this. Trust whatever vision comes. And how that feels and how that you in the scene feels getting to be fully expressed. How do they look in their power? How do others benefit from their gifts? How did, in seeing this, you actually lose any fear around comparison with someone else? Because you're like, oh, duh, this is so me in my path, in my power, in my purpose. Thanking that future self for showing you this and just asking them, what is the perfect next step to step into this? Trusting whatever they say, feeling it in your navel, feeling that golden light shoot down your hips, shoot up your heart, up your throat, up your third eye, out your head. All of you buzzing with golden light. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then another deep breath in. And exhale, let it out. Returning to this space, opening your eyes. Wow, welcome back. And I hope on the other side of this meditation, you're inspired to turn your comparison into fuel. You guys have to let me know what you do. And just to recap, step 1, celebrate that it's happening. You're in the growth zone. Step 2, acknowledge your comparison. What is it telling you? Just get it out. That's right. We have it. If you're visually watching, balloons just came up all through my screen. How powerful. Step 3 is what is that? Gentle, loving counter argument to the comparison. Step 4, giving gratitude for the other person you're feeling comparison to, thanking them, whether you send them a note or just energetically or write it in your journal for what they've inspired in you. Step 5, what is the cost if you don't do it? How is the world and your personal joy missing out? Step 6, how can no one do it like you? Only you can do it like you. And step 7, taking that aligned action. Wow, this was a powerful under 30-minute episode, guys, but hopefully the positive ROI from it is above and beyond what that power packed 30 minutes is. So all of that's to say, let me know what you do and send this to a friend who's been in comparison, who needs to be reminded of their own power. And also, like I said, if you're ready to upgrade your life in all areas, we're talking belief system, manifestation techniques, your relationship to money, communicating from a place of power, your boundaries, and all of this leading to things like career pivots, stepping into your creative genius, attracting aligned community, starting your own movement. My 10th upgrade is starting in April, and the last week to get the pre-launch price is this week. So let me know, me at the Meredith Baker, if you're interested. And I will see you next week for more powerful stuff. Hey, you. Thank you for coming on this powerful journey with me. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And if it was, it would mean the world to me if you rate, review, and subscribe to Powerful Stuff so I can keep bringing you the goods. We can keep going on this transformative journey together. And if there's powerful stuff that you want to share with me, with the Powerful Stuff community, tag us on Instagram at That's Powerful Stuff or the Meredith Baker. And I look forward to seeing you next week for more powerful stuff.